In high-volume industries like telecommunications or utilities, a company's network generates data relentlessly. Every call, every text, every kilowatt of energy produces a discrete event record that streams into the enterprise architecture 24 hours a day. But finance departments do not issue invoices with every single text message or click. They execute these charges on specific, predetermined financial schedules. This diagram illustrates the consume-to-cash process. The billing block you see here is where that continuous data stream arrives. When raw rated events arrive from external systems, they stop here. They accumulate inside convergent invoicing, waiting in a paused state. So, out of millions of waiting records, how does the software independently identify the precise date that each individual item actually becomes due for billing? Without a mechanism to separate the moment a transaction is created from the moment it is financially executed, high-volume automated billing is impossible to manage. SAP Convergent Invoicing resolves this timing problem using a specific master data attribute known as the scheduling characteristic. This tag is not attached to the incoming usage transaction. Instead, it lives permanently on the customer's master data profile. It dictates the customer's billing rhythm. A large enterprise might be assigned a daily characteristic due to their transaction volume, while a private retail customer might be assigned monthly. Crucially, this characteristic does not contain hard-coded calendar dates like the 15th or the 31st. It is an abstract classification used for rule determination. By abstracting the schedule into a profile tag rather than stamping dates onto millions of individual transaction records, a business can update its global billing logic instantly without modifying the underlying transactional data. But the scheduling characteristic alone cannot calculate a date. It acts as the first variable in a multidimensional matrix the system uses to locate the correct mathematical formula. This interface shows a contract account master record. Under the Convergent Invoicing tab, the system locates the scheduling characteristic, in this example, moth for a monthly schedule. Next, the system analyzes the incoming billable item itself to extract two transaction variables, the billing subprocess, like SC01, and the item type, such as a subscription fee. Finally, it checks the contract account one more time for an optional fourth variable, the billing cycle, which synchronizes recurring charges. SAP Convergent Invoicing uses these four specific attributes to perform a single, multidimensional database lookup. This combination identifies the precise scheduling rule stored in the customizing tables. For our monthly example, the system retrieves rule 0001. Because the rule is determined dynamically by combining customer data with product data, a single account can process a monthly software license on the 1st and a one-off usage charge on the 15th entirely automatically. To understand how the engine calculates the target date, we need to look inside Rule 0001. A rule is built from a sequence of calculation parts, each guarded by a date limit. This graphic maps out a test case. We have a billable item that originates in the system on June 24th. The engine runs its first check against calculation part 1, which has a date limit of the 13th. Because the origin day of 24 exceeds 13, the engine bypasses this logic entirely. It moves to calculation part 2, which has a date limit of 31. The 24th falls inside this threshold, triggering the math for part 2. The first mathematical step is an anchor. The engine takes the June 24th baseline date and snaps it backward to a predefined fixed date, in this case, June 15th. Next, it executes the second step, shifting that calculation forward by exactly 1 month, landing on July 15th. Before it finalizes the timestamp, the engine applies a working day rule. It checks the assigned factory calendar to account for weekends and regional holidays. Because July 15, 2012 is a Sunday, the rule automatically pushes the date forward to the next available working day, which is Monday, July 16th. This final calculated output is written to the item as the bill from attribute. This is the official target billing date. By applying sequential date limits, fixed offsets, and factory calendars, the system transforms complex business logic into a single, actionable timestamp on the transaction record. This process flow details exactly how that timestamp is used. During the background billing job, the system scans the database and selects only the items where the calculated bill from date qualifies for billing today. But generating the billing document is only the first half of the sequence. The scheduling engine immediately executes a second phase. The exact same 4-key lookup process runs again. this time on the newly created billing document, to calculate the invoice from date, which controls when the actual invoice is generated. This dual-stage isolation allows a company to process billing dynamically throughout the month based on usage milestones, while holding those documents in reserve to produce a single consolidated invoice for the customer. To see the business value of this architecture, consider a company like Telcom One. They manage business customers generating massive volumes of data that require daily billing, right alongside private customers who expect a single monthly statement. The network hardware produces identical raw usage records for both, but because their contract accounts hold different schedule and characteristics, the system routes the data into completely different temporal life cycles the moment it arrives. By spreading out when these transactions become due, the scheduling engine inherently performs massive load balancing. It prevents the database from crashing under end-of-month spikes by distributing the processing weight evenly across the calendar. SAP Convergent Invoicing Scheduling Engine separates the physical ingestion of data from its financial execution. It allows businesses to manage global transaction volumes while maintaining the precise timing of every individual customer contract.